Hello, my friends. Welcome to Luna English Podcast. This is Luna. Lately, I've been thinking about how often we wait for the perfect moment to begin something new. We tell ourselves, one day I will start, one day I will try, one day I will change. It feels safe, comfortable, even peaceful at first. But this one day is not real. It is a story we tell ourselves to avoid action. Waiting for clarity, for the perfect conditions, for complete confidence, it can quietly erode trust in ourselves. I want to explore the difference between the comfort of postponing and the courage of simply starting. Today, we will talk about small, practical ways to move from one day to day one. We will think about progress, not perfection, and notice how tiny, consistent actions slowly build momentum. By seeing ourselves as active participants in our own story, we can reclaim our power. Even the smallest step today can change tomorrow. It is not about waiting to feel ready. It is about gently choosing to begin. And if this little moment of learning feels helpful to you, I'd be glad if you pressed like and subscribe to the channel. It keeps us connected, and it supports this quiet space where we learn and grow together. Your small action truly helps more listeners find their way here. Why do we wait for the perfect moment? Often, we wait because we believe we need to feel ready first. We imagine a time when everything will fall into place, when confidence will appear fully, and when our circumstances are ideal. But the truth is, this moment rarely comes. Waiting can feel safe because it protects us from failure, from discomfort, from the unknown. Yet each day spent waiting quietly tells our mind that we are not capable, that we cannot trust ourselves to act. Waiting becomes a habit, a gentle trap where we tell ourselves it's fine to delay. The more we wait, the more distant our goals seem, and the easier it is to forget our own potential. Real change begins when we shift from a mindset of waiting to a mindset of doing. Every small step we take builds trust in ourselves. Even imperfect action teaches us more than perfect preparation ever will. The courage to start is not born from confidence. It is born from taking the first step, even when fear or doubt is present. What happens when we keep postponing our goals? At first, postponing may feel harmless. It may feel like we are simply choosing comfort. But over time, avoiding action creates a quiet loss of self-trust. Each postponed day reinforces the belief that we cannot rely on ourselves. Our goals feel distant, and our energy begins to fade. The cost is not always dramatic. It may be subtle, a lingering sense of frustration, or a feeling that life is passing us by. We may tell ourselves we are resting or waiting for the right moment, but in reality, waiting erodes confidence. Every moment spent waiting is a moment where we could practice, learn, or create. The longer we delay, the harder it becomes to start. This is why shifting from postponement to action is powerful. Each small effort, each tiny step toward our goal rebuilds trust and brings clarity. Life rewards gentle, consistent action more than perfect timing. Progress, not waiting, is what moves us forward. How can small actions really make a difference? When we start, we don't need a big plan or perfect skill. We need small, consistent steps that are simple enough to repeat. Tiny actions create movement, and movement creates energy. Even a few minutes a day dedicated to a goal can slowly build momentum. Momentum is like a quiet river. It grows with each drop of water until it begins to flow strongly. Small actions also teach us about ourselves. They show us what works, what feels good, and what we are capable of. We learn by doing, not by waiting. Momentum doesn't demand perfection. It only asks for presence. When we act consistently, even imperfectly, we start to trust ourselves. The act of showing up becomes more important than the result we create. Every tiny step is proof that we can begin, that we can continue, and that we can grow. This is how progress begins, through small, gentle, repeated action. Why do we feel more confident after we start? Confidence is not a magic feeling that appears before action. Confidence is built through experience, through movement, through simply showing up. When we start, we create opportunities to learn, to adapt, and to see results, even small ones. Each effort we make reinforces the belief that we are capable. Waiting for confidence first often keeps us stuck because it is an illusion that confidence exists without effort. In reality, confidence follows action. The courage to begin teaches our mind that we can handle uncertainty, mistakes, and challenges. Each small success builds trust in our abilities, and each failure teaches a lesson without harming our self-worth. The journey itself is where clarity grows. By starting, even imperfectly, we step into our power. We remind ourselves that progress is possible. Confidence is not a prerequisite, it is the natural reward for action. When we take that first step, we begin to see ourselves differently, as capable, resourceful, and willing. What does it mean to choose day one? Choosing day one is a quiet declaration that we are ready to act, not when everything feels perfect, but now. It shifts our identity from someone waiting for life to someone creating it. Day one means we stop being spectators and become participants. This simple mental shift changes how we view ourselves. We start to see potential in small actions and value progress over perfection. Day one encourages curiosity, experimentation, and patience. We accept that mistakes are part of learning, and that clarity often comes during the journey rather than before it starts. This mindset allows us to reclaim control over our story. By marking a day as the beginning, we honor our goals and give ourselves permission to begin without fear. Day one reminds us that waiting is optional and action is available. Even a small first step can lead to greater movement. Choosing day one is a gentle, powerful way to step forward into the life we want to create. Why are tiny wins important? Tiny wins may seem insignificant, but they quietly shape our confidence and motivation. Each small achievement shows that we are capable, that our effort has value, and that progress is real. These wins accumulate, creating a sense of momentum that feels energizing rather than overwhelming. Tiny wins also make our goals feel reachable. When we break large goals into small, manageable steps, the journey becomes less intimidating. Each win is a reminder that we are not stuck. We are moving forward. Celebrating even small progress reinforces the habit of showing up. It signals to our mind that our actions matter and that our commitment is real. Over time, tiny wins build trust in ourselves, and trust is essential for sustained action. Momentum grows slowly but surely, and with it, confidence and clarity. Tiny wins are not about perfection. They are about proof that we can start, continue, and succeed. How can we focus on progress rather than performance? Often we hesitate because we fear doing something imperfectly. We want results to look perfect before we act. But progress is about action, not perfection. Prioritizing progress means giving value to showing up, trying, and learning. It means understanding that growth happens gradually, and results may not be immediate. When we focus on progress, we reduce pressure and fear, and we increase courage to act. Progress also teaches patience. It helps us notice the small, steady changes that add up over time. By valuing effort, consistency, and learning, we shift our mindset from fear of failure to appreciation of growth. This approach reminds us that life is not a single performance to judge ourselves by. It is a continuous journey. Choosing progress over performance allows us to begin, to continue, and to build confidence naturally, step by step. Why is trusting ourselves so important? Self-trust is the foundation of action. When we trust ourselves, we believe we can handle challenges, mistakes, and uncertainty. Without trust, we delay, doubt, and hesitate. Trust grows through repeated action, even when it feels uncomfortable. Each step we take reinforces the idea that we are capable. Self-trust is quiet, but powerful. It allows us to act with patience, curiosity, and courage. It reminds us that we are responsible for our story and that our presence matters. When trust is present, fear of imperfection fades. We can begin without waiting for guarantees, and we can continue without being paralyzed by doubt. Self-trust is not about being perfect. It is about believing that our actions have meaning and that we can learn from experience. Every moment we act, no matter how small, strengthens this trust, and each small victory proves we can count on ourselves to keep moving forward. Why does simply being present help us start? Presence is the quiet act of noticing now, of engaging fully with this moment. When we are present, we see what we can do immediately, instead of waiting for perfect conditions. Presence allows us to take the first step without judgment or delay. It shifts attention from fear of failure to curiosity about possibility. Being present also helps us focus on what is in our control. We notice small actions we can take, resources we have, and choices available to us. This awareness reduces anxiety about the future and frees energy for movement. Presence teaches patience, acceptance, and gentleness toward ourselves. By practicing presence, even briefly, we create momentum, and momentum is what builds confidence, clarity, and progress. Acting with awareness, even in tiny ways, allows us to reclaim power over our story. Presence turns hesitation into action, doubt into learning, and waiting into movement. Why is courage necessary to begin? Courage is not the absence of fear, it is action despite fear. Starting something new often feels uncertain, uncomfortable, or risky. Courage is the quiet strength that allows us to take the first step even when we are unsure. It is not loud or dramatic, it is simple and steady. Every small act of courage reinforces self-trust. Courage grows with practice, and each step forward makes the next step easier. We do not need to feel completely brave before we start. We only need the willingness to move, even imperfectly. Courage helps us view challenges as opportunities rather than threats. It reminds us that we are capable of handling discomfort and mistakes. Each courageous action, no matter how small, builds momentum, confidence, and clarity. Courage is the bridge between waiting and beginning, and it allows us to step into our own story, fully and intentionally. How does taking action help us understand our goals? Often, we wait because we think we must know everything before we start. But clarity usually comes during the process of doing. When we take steps, even small ones, we learn what matters, what feels right, and what we truly want. Action provides feedback, showing us what works and what doesn't. This feedback is more valuable than planning alone. Moving forward allows us to adjust, refine, and discover our purpose. Waiting, by contrast, can create confusion, doubt, and stagnation. Each action, each experiment teaches us something important about our abilities, desires, and direction. Clarity emerges slowly through doing, noticing, and reflecting. By starting, we move from theory to reality. We see possibilities we could not have imagined while waiting. Action is a teacher, and progress is a guide. Through simple, consistent steps, we gain insight, understanding, and confidence that waiting alone could never provide. Why is thinking of ourselves as authors helpful? When we see ourselves as authors, we recognize that we have a role in shaping our story. Waiting, delaying, or hesitating makes us spectators, watching life pass by. Acting, even imperfectly, is an act of authorship. It is a statement that we matter, that our choices influence our path, and that we are willing to participate. By choosing day one, we write new chapters filled with learning, growth, and momentum. Viewing life as a story reminds us that progress is made over time, and that each small action contributes to the larger narrative. It also allows us to see mistakes not as failures, but as plot points that guide us. When we embrace authorship, we reclaim power, trust, and presence. We recognize that clarity, strength, and momentum come through living, not waiting. We become active participants, shaping our own journey with courage and gentle persistence. How can we reclaim our personal power? Power is not about control over others. It is about trust, presence, and action. We reclaim power by taking responsibility for our choices, by showing up, and by moving forward even when conditions feel uncertain. Each small step strengthens confidence, self-trust, and momentum. Reclaiming power also means letting go of the idea that we must feel ready before acting. It means embracing imperfection and valuing process over outcome. By beginning, we assert that our voice, our effort, and our presence matter. We move from waiting to doing, from hesitation to courage, and from fear to learning. Power grows quietly, with consistent, gentle action. Each day we act. We write a chapter of self-reliance and growth. Reclaiming power is not dramatic. It is the steady realization that life is happening now, and we can participate fully. It starts with the first step, today, however small it may feel. What is the gentle call to action today? The call is simple. Begin. Begin now, even in a small way, even without full clarity or confidence. Progress is built through movement, trust, presence, and courage. Life unfolds as we act, not as we wait. Each small step teaches, strengthens, and clarifies. Each tiny action is a choice to participate, to write your story, and to reclaim your power. Waiting for the perfect moment often keeps us stuck, but starting allows momentum to grow. Remember, clarity, confidence, and strength are discovered during the journey, not before it starts. You do not need to feel ready, you only need to act. Today, choose day one. Take a step, however small, and let the rhythm of consistent effort guide you. Begin, notice, adjust, and trust yourself. Your story is yours to write, and it begins with this moment. The journey is waiting, and it begins now. And if this episode felt helpful or comforting in any way, I'd be grateful if you liked the video and subscribed to the channel. It helps you stay close to the next lesson, and it also keeps this quiet learning space alive and growing.